Hi everyone, Mike here. Just a quick look at Lone Sherman. Now I've got the finished product in front of me here. So this is the book that you would receive from Amazon. And it's the same size as the others. Apart from Fields of Normandy, which is smaller, but apart from that, they're all the same size. So you've got a sort of 50 odd pages in here, full colour as you can see. And let's have a quick flick through, shall we, and see what's going on with this one. So say this is Lone Sherman, where you're in charge of a single Sherman tank, as the name suggests. And you've got contents in here. You can see there are 11 missions, if you like, at the bottom there. So there is, as ever, in a lot of my X and Counter war games, there's terrain features here. There are terrain features. You've got roads, fields, mud hexes, woodland, buildings. You've got tree lines, which provide defence, and water hexes, which obviously you can't enter into. So then we've got details of, line facing is important in this game, as it would be with tanks and armour and so on. The armour details and things are in these charts here. There are rules about lines of sight. There are examples here of tree lines and facing and so on. You see lots of colour examples and diagrams and things. I'm not going to leaf through every page for obvious reasons, but plenty of charts and things, examples, and the rules take you through to there. So we've got about, so it starts around page 4 in earnest and goes on to 25. You've got 20 pages of rules, but it's fairly big type. I'd say plenty of charts and diagrams and things taking up space, examples of playing things. Then it tells you how to select, well, about mission selection and how to build a campaign. So you can do that with this game, sort of build a campaign between different things. So I'm just going to be a bit of a shadow there. Let me try and put that right if I can. Okay, so you can string 2 or 3 missions together to make a campaign if you wish. But you don't have to, you can play them individually. And then as ever, you've got all the information and charts on one page and the missions themselves on the right hand page. This game does come with counters, so we've got a few of those here that come with the game. There's no need to make them all actually for this one. There are several tanks which are worth making just because they're the things you are moving around the board. There's a truck there as well. And maybe the German infantry are useful for similar reasons because they appear on the maps too. The rest are really just markers. There are crew members, but those and the markers can really, you could use any tokens for that. So if you don't want to fiddle around making all these, you don't have to. You don't even have to make the tanks if you don't want to. It's perfectly easy to use something else for this game, so you could just simply use cubes or whatever for your various tanks and markers and things down here and up here and so on. Very easy to do that, or cover it with acetate and use a dry white marker and just wipe it off and move it around. I've done that. That's dead easy as well for this one because there aren't that many units on the map at any one time. Generally there's going to be your Sherman, obviously, and then you on average you're probably going to have a couple of German tanks knocking around. Maybe 3, and then probably just a couple of infantry from time to time popping up in various places, but they don't move, so they're pretty easy to deal with. So easy to play in a whole load of different ways. Again, you can flatten this book nicely out as well, and will go flat, and you can put your counters on there and they'll not move around and stuff, so it's dead easy. So yeah, the 11 missions then, nice and varied. Just quick flick through some of those. You can see this one's got more town on. You have to clear the infantry out of the town on that one. It's got a big lake in the middle, lots of mud, so that makes it a bit more challenging to move around. This one has a truck on it which starts up here, and then when it comes to the events phase, one of the events is to move the truck, and it will gradually move down this road, and if it goes off the bottom there you lose. So your job is to destroy the truck and then disappear off the map, but obviously there are German tanks knocking around who are going to try and stop you doing that. This one, you start in the middle of the map, you start the game damaged, immobilised in fact, and surrounded by German tanks, so that's a bit different challenge. This one you've just got to get through, but you've got to get across this bridge and around, and that's again reasonably heavily defended by German tanks. For this one, you've got to destroy a particular infantry group in this hex here. So starting down here, you've got to get up there, and then you've got to cross and out the map here. And again, there'll be tanks trying to stop you do that. This one is called Across the Water. So the German tanks tend to start at the top here. You start at the bottom here. You have to destroy them. So you tend to have a battle across the lake. Although sometimes the German tanks will sort of come around the side and hunt you down that way. So that can be quite varied. Another one where you're just passing through, but this time you've got to get through this town, which will have quite a lot of infantry knocking around in it. And mission 11, so I've just added that one. There were originally 10, but I'll add 11. This was the original game that I created for myself, or the original mission, I should say, I created for myself, some time ago, actually, a few years ago. It's been knocking around as an idea since then. I thought, I'll just add it as a mission at the end there. So obviously it's been adapted into this rule set entirely, but it was always based, this game is based on this original idea that I'd had some time ago. And this is really just a kind of, it's called Steel Gladiators. It's almost just like an arena. So your tank starts somewhere randomly on one of these numbers, and then you throw on a load of German tanks starting randomly as well. So you all kind of start on the edges, and then it's, a big shootout to the death sort of thing. So that's quite good fun, and it's easy to tailor that one, as it says here. You can tailor that for difficulty as you can all of them, but this one particularly is kind of built for that. So you might want to start off fighting against a couple of tanks and gradually up the ante, and when you get expert at it, you can start with your Sherman here, and you can have 5 German tanks if you like, and have a I don't know, a sort of Royal Rumble, I guess, isn't it, to the death. So that's the one. So the general mechanics of this is that there are 7 phases. Some of those are very quick phases, such as just removing smoke from tanks and so on. The key decisions are positioning your commander either up or down. When he's up out the hatch, he's more useful, but he's in more danger. And when he's buttoned up, he's safer, but less useful, because he can't see as much and help so much with movement and attacking and so on. So that's a key decision. Then you have your sort of operations phase, where you have to maneuver your tank around the map. You have to attack. You roll dice to see what orders you get, and then you use those orders, or actions, I should say, and you use those actions as best you can. You've got moving, turning, reversing. You've got loading, firing machine guns at infantry, firing the main gun at other tanks and trucks and things. The number of dice you roll depend on what terrain your tank is on, so it's important to think about whether you're landing on a road hex or a field hex or a mud hex, where you get fewer dice. Roads give you the most options in that respect. And there's a miscellaneous phase here where you get to do some bonus actions, such as additional fire actions or move actions if relevant members of your crew are still alive. Or you get to repair your tank if you're lucky, if it's damaged, or put fire out if you're on fire again, or maybe seek defensive positions like putting out smoke or looking for a hold down location if you can find one, with a double in that case. Then you've got fire check phase here as well, where if you're on fire, that will do more damage to your tank, so try and put that out before you get to that. You've got the German operations phase then, where they do similar kind of things. They will move around and fire and sort of head towards you, hunt you down, and shoot at you, but they'll also pop their own smoke out and find their own hold down positions and things. So nice, easy to operate AI. Then you've got we've got tables down here about combat. So there's 3 stages to combat. You have to hit the tank, and then you have to damage the tank, and then you have to work out what damage has been caused. And then down in phase 7, finally, you've got end of turn events, which vary from, you can see there, this one has sort of 5 end of turn events. This one has 6, for example. And they do vary in which ones are which. This one has 7. And so different maps have different events to suit the particular mission involved. And then you repeat. And most of the missions you are starting where a black arrow is, and you have to get out of the map where the red arrow is, and of course achieve certain things in between. 1 or 2 missions you just have to get through the map, but in most of them you have to destroy the enemy tanks before doing so, or achieve some other outcome. Alright, so that plays in, well, I mean, of course you could be killed in one shoot, destroyed in one shot. On the first turn potentially, so your game could last anything from sort of 2 minutes to you know, I don't know, maybe up to 90 minutes, because some missions, new tanks appear and so on, so it can, you know, can become quite lengthy for some, or that's probably a rarity. The average time is probably around sort of 40 to 60 minutes, something like that for an average playtime, I would think. All right, so full colour maps, it's all included. So the counters that I've made there are in the back of the book. Show you those there. So you can, you know, as usual, take that page out because it's the last page of the book. Slice that out, mount it on some card and cut them out. Or this is available, as it says here, on Board Game Geek website, so you can download it from there if you don't want to just, you know, cut a page out of the book, of course. All right, so that is Lone Sherman. Hope you enjoy that one. Thank you very much.